Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cynthia Linox Show. I am your host, Cynthia Linox, here again to remind you that this is the best season of your life. You know, the further you go into this journey of self discovery, you're going to find out that it becomes more challenging. It becomes more challenging because you're now starting to deal with issues of your past, perhaps, and dealing with people. And dealing with people is really a great challenge. Now, I will not call it or say that it's hard or difficult because what it requires of you, or what's going to be required of you, is simply to make decisions as you go along. Just make decisions, consider your option, and keep things as simple as possible. Now, remember, you are the one that's writing the narrative for your life, and you have become the main character, the sole character of your own script. So you're the one that will do whatever performance or whatever lines you need to remember. You are the only character. And once you're mindful of that, then you will realize that you're the one that's going to have to make the decisions. You're the ones that's going to have to consider your options. You're the ones that's going to have to play it out. Why? Because it's your life, and you have to get away from the whole fear thing. This whole the emotions of fear, and know that not only do you have the ability to think critically, but you also have emotional intelligence to make decisions. You have the ability to research. You have the knowing, the intuition, your intuition, your instinct sharpened so that you will recognize what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And the things that work for you, then having the courage to make the changes. Now, what I have seen is that in order to cross that bridge, many try to drag along with them things of the past. They want to drag it over the bridge. So there is this big old, just consider this is a bridge, and there's this big old bag of stuff, mindset, old beliefs, experiences, behaviors, habits, relationships, all of that, things of the past. This is the way I grew up. This is how I was taught. This is what I know. And you try to bundle that up and drag it across the bridge into your future. Well, it's important that you understand that the things of the past, much more, a lot of the things of the past will not fit into your future because it's a brand new you. It's a brand new, real, true, and authentic you that you are discovering and that you are becoming. So, those things of the past, if you try to drag it, not only is it going to delay your arrival to your destination, but you may not even get there. Why? Because you're trying to drag the old belief system, you're trying to drag the old mindset, you try to drag old relationships, and a lot of the things that you say, you want affirmation, you want approval, you want people's consent instead of seeing what you, or living what you know, coming up with whatever decision that works for you and move on. No, you are delaying to get affirmation from this group here, this bundle of the past. That's not going to work. It's going to delay you arriving into your future. It's going to delay your progress. Why? Because you're trying to drag things across. You're just dragging it. There's no roller. It's not like a suitcase with a roller. No, you're just dragging those old belief system and trying to fit it into the new. It's like saying, I'm going to take 30% of the old, hang on to it, and bring it into the new. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit, my friend. It will not fit because the new is brand new. Your true, authentic self. Remember, this is a journey of self discovery. It's discovering the new you, your identity. And if you try to bring the old stuff, what is it going to do? It's going to, it's going to crash. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit into the newness of who you are becoming. So you have to be so mindful of that. That's one thing. And another thing that's really important, it's the narrative that people have of you. People have certain narratives in their mind. For some people, you may be a terrible people. They don't like the way you think. They don't like your ideas. They don't like anything about that. And for other people, you may be a such a blessing. It's like, oh my gosh, there's such a freshness in what they're sharing, and the person that they have become and so forth. So you have to sort that out and be prepared to let go of those people that do not understand you, because it's not your change is not for someone to understand or for people to understand. Your change is for you to live your authentic life, happy, to take pleasure in the things that's your experiences that surround you, your family, your friends, your whatever situations around you, to take pleasure in it. Remember, the purpose of life is pleasure. Do you not know that I know that just that statement, the purpose of life is pleasure, that statement is frowned upon by many. But you look at those people's lives and there's no fruit. Now, I say the purpose of my life is pleasure. And you know what? Day after day after day after day, that's all, I am attracting. And whenever there's any hiccup, excuse me, if there's a hiccup, then you just figure it out. That's my favorite thing that I say, my favorite saying. My husband will tell you, we can figure it out. We'll figure it out. We just took we just took a quick rendezvous to London last week, and it was just glorious. We just thought we would just get away to the London countryside and discover the newness of that place. So beautiful, so refreshing, relaxing, and so forth. We had already been to London, so we toured all that, Buckingham Palace and all of that. So we wanted to check out the countryside. And I can tell you, I am telling you, we met some of the most beautiful people while we were there. And it happens all the time. We went into Harrods, just to Harrods, to buy some coffee. My husband wanted some Ethiopian coffee to bring back with us. And so we got the coffee and so forth. And as we were talking to the guy at the register, was this guy from the Middle East. And really nice guy. And I don't even know how this conversation ensued, but he started to tell us about the different cultures here in London, and the places that each group where they live, and how the groups interact with each other. He went into this whole thing about the demographics and the population and the culture and all of that. And it was so interesting because we like learned something like so fast. And then of course another customer came up, and I try to cut it short, but he was so enjoying talking with us. I don't even know how the conversation came up. I guess we were asking him about the coffee from the different regions and so forth, because I wanted to know how did my husband come up with Ethiopian coffee, which is very rich, by the way. Anyway, and he just started to talk to us. That made our afternoon so pleasant. And then when we went to Cotswold, when we went to the country, we met this other couple. Her name is Syria, and his name is Singh. They are from Bangkok. Oh my goodness. And she she was so funny. She was like, "Oh, she thought I looked so much like Whitney Houston." Of course, I've heard that before, but anyway. And so we just started talking, and they started sharing about their lives in Bangkok. And then and I said to her, in my community, we have a lot of folks from from that side of the world, that part of Asia, and she said yes, and we're all from the Sikh religion, Sikh, and she just went on to share some things with us, and it was just so wonderful, and that's just energy, just drawing in energy. We didn't, my husband and I, we were taking pictures of each other, and they approached us and said, "Let me take a picture of you both." That happens all the time. And we said, "Oh, great." And so she just click, 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 and she just went on to take a whole bunch of pictures and so forth. And then we had this conversation. Then later on, we had lunch together, and we had a chance to talk about the different places that we traveled, and how long it took us to get there and so forth. And it was just so delightful, so delightful. So as you go on to the newness of who you are, you're going to have all these new experiences, all these great experiences that's going to enrich your life. You won't have to worry about the things of the past trying to drag it through. When we were leaving, uh, we just came back, and when we were leaving, another story. We booked this taxi to pick us up at 5 o'clock in the morning at the hotel. From the hotel to Heathrow Airport. So we booked it for 5 a.m. We were down in the lobby at 5 to 5, and we had already checked out, so there was no delay in checking out. So 5 o'clock, and the British, they are an on-time machine. 5 o'clock, and he was not there. Not he, the taxi was not there. So my husband was a little put off by that, and he told the attendant, he said, if the taxi does not show up by 5 after 5, we're going to book a new one. Again, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So he went outside, hoping to see some lights show up, taxi cab and so forth, and nothing. In the meantime, this couple, beautiful couple, came out of the elevator. She looked at me, I looked at her. She is just such a beautiful woman. And I smiled, she smiled, and she said, "Good morning." I said, "Good morning to you." And you could tell there was an affinity right away. I liked her. She liked me. There was just an energy. You could tell that our energies aligned. So a taxi cab showed up. Come to find out, that taxi cab was for them. That's the taxi that they ordered. So the taxi showed up. And as they were walking out with their luggage, well, the attendant took their luggage. As they were walking out, she said to me, "Where are you guys going to?" I said, "Well, we're going to Heathrow Airport." She said, "Well, that's where we're going. Why don't you join us, please? And we'll pay the taxi." And I'm like, "No, no, no, no." I said, "We have a taxi that we will order, and she insisted. She said, "No, please. I would love for you to join us, and we will pay for the taxi." Well, a taxi from where we were, the hotel where we stayed, to Heathrow Airport is about £100, British pounds, which translate to like $125 for a taxi. So she insisted, her husband insisted, and when, Noel came back in, I said, he heard the conversation. And anyway, so we decided that we would oblige, and we went with them. I am telling you, it was Kelly and Sean. Absolutely wonderful couple. They live in Arizona. They were on their way to Dublin, Ireland. They were starting, this journey of traveling, because I get the impression that they just became empty nesters because, their kids, they're out of college, and they said, well, our kids have traveled more than we have. Our son just came back from Prague, and our daughter just came back from, Tuscany and so forth. So they were almost saying, now it's our time to travel. So they asked us about our travel experience, and we started to share with them, and we just had such an amazing time just talking. And they wanted to hear about the cruises and this and all the country we went to. And because they were of the same mindset, we had something in common. We were so aligned energetically. It was amazing. So our flight, our air carrier was out of Terminal 3, and they were out of Terminal 2. And so we were first dropped off. And when the cab driver got to Terminal 3, I extended my hand to shake her, and she says, "No, I want a hug from you." Imagine that. I mean, this woman was just amazing. I mean, she was like beautiful, and he was handsome. They were just a beautiful couple. And so we hugged, and I shook his hand, and Noel shook both hands, and we left. It was so refreshing. My thing is, now, if I had said let's exchange numbers or something, they would have been more than willing. I didn't go there because that occasion did not I didn't, anyway, I didn't waste time doing that. But the point is, you you bring out so many amazing experiences. That's what's waiting for you at the end of the tunnel, where there's light, where there's newness, where there's, adventure and just great experiences that awaits you. But if I dragged all that thing from the past, and whether it's being quiet, or introvert, or so forth, try to drag all that experience, habits, behaviors, beliefs, mindset, and all those things, mind your own business, stay quiet, all of it. If I drag all of that into my where I am to bring it into the future, it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't, it doesn't belong there, because that's old. For me, again, life for me now is one of pleasure. I may bless some, and some may not feel blessed by me, but then the narrative people have in their minds of me has nothing to do with me. The same with you. The narrative people have in their mind concerning you has nothing to do with the person that you are. People are going to create narrative. They're going to see you a certain way. They're going to have opinions, views. They're going to have, judgments. They're going to label you one way or another, but it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you being a decent, loving, kind, and compassionate person at all. And you create the person that you want to be. Those are just my principles, love, kindness, and compassion. And I just, exude that naturally. And people are attracted to that. My smile, I use it all the time. I smile at people, and it's not even trying to gain anyone's favor. It's just what I do. And a smile generally elicits a response. So you have to figure out what works for you. But I'm telling you, it's going to come a point where you're going to have to leave the past in the past. And if you're at a place where you're looking for affirmation, everything that you think of, or you're trying to decide, and you're trying to get affirmation for people to affirm your thoughts, your ideas, your views. If they're yours, you don't need affirmation. Why? Why would you need affirmation for your own opinions? You have to validate, you have to know your worth, and know that your ideas, your opinions are equally valid as someone else, because they're yours. They are yours. 100% your ideas. And you have to trust that. You trust that. So when you come up against people that are seeing the changes within you, and not everyone is going to like it, when you start becoming more confident, people are going to call you arrogant, or proud. And again, that has nothing to do with you. You cannot you cannot expect to change or to fix, to alter or modify the narrative in people's minds about you. That is their narrative. That is their idea, their views, their point of view, their opinions. That is theirs. And you should not let that hinder you or stop you or, you know, put the brakes on your moving forward. Leave all the old stuff behind. Yes, you may have been brought up, when I grew up, my dad was very strict. There's certain things I couldn't do, there's certain things but my dad, similar because he was a good provider, I had things that made me happy. So, but if I go back to think of some of the things that I didn't like and try to drag it through and no, you leave all that mindset, all that belief system, the experiences, even if there were, bad experiences, leave it behind you. Leave it on that side of the bridge. Leave it over there. Leave all the feelings, the emotions, the hurt, the pain. And once you free your mind of all of that, it really affects your whole your whole system. It affects your whole system, not only mentally, it frees up your mind, but it allows your cells to work in concert with health. All the good cells lining up to keep you healthy. A lot of the aches and pains people come down with has to do with their stress level, not being able to. There's a certain element of stress that we go through, and that's just life when we're figuring things out. Today was pretty kind of a stressful. I didn't have internet today, and I'm not happy with all that. So the technician had to come out here, and it was just, my husband wasn't here, because he's at the office, and I had to deal with him, which is no problem at all. And then but he was a nice guy, and he did a lot of work. He was here like 2 hours, and that was like stressful. It was just stressful. But I had to wait and wait till he figured it out, till he fixed it. And fortunately it's now fixed. But things come up. Life is not perfect. Things come up, and things come up, but we figure it out. We deal with it as they come. We just deal with it as they come. And to avoid the stress, I had to just really decompress when he left in order to get in a different mindset so that I can come here and chat with you on a Thursday afternoon, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. I had to decompress because I was like, I was on the phone with them for a while, and it was just a big mess. And, I'm trying to see what are my options if I, get rid of that internet system, provider, and get someone else. So I went through all of that. But, you know, I'm fine now. That's in the past. Whatever I have to figure out and work out after, I will do that after the show. But I'm not going to drag that set of emotions into the show and feeling down and depressed and say, no, it's just you work things out, you figure it out, it's working now. That's here is the situation that's positive, that I am now up and live. That's the situation. So you have got to be mindful of the challenges you will face. And again, the main challenge you're going to face are the challenges of dealing with people, dealing with the narrative, because in every person's mind, they have a certain narrative of you. For some, you are the best thing since Tootsie Roll. For others, you may be a nuisance. Some people may not like you just because the way you think. Some people may not like you just because the way you believe or what you believe or what you don't believe. Some people may not like you because they think you are too self-confident or self-assured. Some people may not like those traits in you. Some people may think that you are too too vain or too just too conceited. And none of it has to do with who you really are. But if that's the truth of you, if you are take are mindful of self-care and take care of yourself a certain way, then so be it. Be who you are, not their narrative. And let me tell you something, my friend. The negative narrative that people have in their minds, generally it's a reflection of their own flaws. And what I have found is that these are the same people that would like to have what you have, would like to have the traits you have, the boldness, the courage, the authenticity to speak your truth and to be real and not be afraid of what people think of you or what they say of you. You're going to have to leave all of that behind. You may start at 0 point with relationships. If a relationship didn't work out in the past, I personally, would not even consider it. And I'm talking about relationships, not just intimate relationships. I'm talking about with friends, with family. Generally, it's all the same, unless someone has had a change of heart or a change of mind, or are ready to embrace you for who you are. But you can't change who you are because of somebody's narrative. Remember, you are the main character. You create your own narrative of yourself. You create your own. And what I find is that people, people complicate life, you know, and that's why, just look at social media. I really have minimized my viewing of social media because people have all these stuff, all these things they're trying to work out in their minds, and dragging things of the past. I am, I left everything behind over there. I'm crossing this this bridge. I'm going on to the new, or whether it's a tunnel, a bridge, whatever. I'm going on to the new, and that's what I have done. And that's what you can do. But you have to be willing to let go. Let go of all of it. And let people catch up to you, to your new you. And if they want to see you and accept you the way you are, the new you, then great. If not, then that relationship is over. Relationships have expiration dates. I have, some of my relationships expired. And I'm okay with it. Because you know what? I have gained new friends. And I mean friends. And I'm not talking about, when we travel. That's great. But local friends that, I can go out and have a drink with, and things like that. So even though I've had great experiences and great relationships, their expiration date came and came to a close. So you will gain new relationships, but you have to be open and stop complicating life. And I see people that are that are trying to, again, I mentioned this before, they're trying to manifest this, and they're trying to attract this. And you don't manifest, you don't attract things. look, you don't manifest what you want, my friend. You manifest who you are. You don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. Just live and enjoy life in its fullness. My husband would say, let's just do this. Let's just do this. Now we could sit and think of all the pros and the con and the negative and the positive and what if this and what if that and what if no. He says, let's go, and we just go. We just start planning. And it's so much fun because it becomes an adventure. It's like doing something new. And it makes life so livable, so fluid, so rich in every way. And it's almost like you mitigate the negative experiences and things from happening because you keep your mind so focused on the new, on the adventures, on the pleasantness, on the pleasures of life. Because life, the purpose of life is pleasure. Now, you can think whatever you want, but that's my definition. The purpose of life is pleasure. And it gives me great pleasure to share this with you. I said the other day, once you have that mindset, whatever you do, take pleasure in it. Whatever it is that you're doing, take pleasure in it. And in doing so, you will discover the things that light you up, the things that turns you on. You will discover those things that lights you up and that turns you on. And then if it's to go, take care of kids in a daycare, whatever, then you do that. If it's to open a new business, a new daycare, a new school, then you go and you do that. Why? Because you have discovered that wherever you go, kids are your main attraction, that gives you most pleasure. Whatever it is that you do, you will discover it. But your purpose in life is to enjoy life. Otherwise, it becomes so burdensome. And that's why, people, I was in this, I don't know if I should mention it, but anyway, I was in this meeting some while ago, and this person, very successful person, uh, was sharing something about uh, her business and accounts and so forth, and she used the phrase, and she got, I guess, the account that she was buying for, and she said something like, and here, poor little me, and they looked at me, and for me that was just a red flag. I was like, what? And then of course I paused because I don't react, but I thought, oh gosh, poor little me. And when I got an opportunity, I said, not poor little you. Look at what you have accomplished. Look at where you're at. But I realized that people like to put this humility thing. I'm humble. No, I'm happy. I'm humble. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm humble. No. I am happy. You gave me that business. You gave me that job. You gave me that opportunity. You gave me that account. I am happy. You may say, I'm humble. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Are you inferring that you did not deserve it? Or that you didn't qualify for it, for that opportunity, that that job, that business, that account? What are you saying when you say, I am humble? No. If you choose me, then I am happy. I am glad. Why? Because if I was vying for it, that would say right there, indicate that I believe I deserved it if I was vying for it. So if you turn around and give it to me instead of these other two persons, I will say, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm humble that you gave it. No, I am happy that you chose me. Why? Because I believe, I know that I am the best candidate for whatever it is that you were offering. Whatever decision you made it in my favor. I'm happy about that. We all have our different times. I may have been the one excluded, but these two other candidates, no. If you chose me, I'm happy. But people go, I'm humble. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? What are you saying if you were vying for, or if someone comes and chooses you for a certain task? If someone comes to choose you to be let's say, a speaker or whatever it is, to do a master class or whatever. Why? Because they have determined that you are the best person for the gig, that you are the best choice, the best candidate. Why? Because whatever it is that you deliver, they see the benefit in that for their students, audience, whatever. And if they make that decision, then I am happy. I'm not humble. What do you mean by that? And you need to qualify that. What do you mean by that? Are you saying, oh, I'm humble because I really didn't deserve it, but you chose me? Think of it. That's why you have to be bold. You have to be bodacious. You have to be courageous. You have to be strong. You have to be passionate about who you are. What is your worth? What is your value? And what you bring to the table? You determine that. And if somebody passes you up, that is okay, because all you need is one yes. It's like years ago when I looked for a job and so forth, I was, you register with these employment offices, and this is years ago. I was in New York City, and I would say all I need is one yes and a good yes. All I need is one yes, and that's all I needed. And I would probably go out one day. I remember one day I went out to like four different interviews because, for the position I was applying for, those days, um, I was very well qualified. And so they would kind of line up like four interviews in one day. So you go from one company, you interview there, a couple of hours, then you go from another company and another company. And in my mind, I would think all I need is one yes, and that's it. And I would tell them. I remember one guy interviewed me, and I said, look, I said, if you have a quota to meet, look, I'm a female, I'm black, I'm bilingual, and I'm a foreigner. I don't know where that foreigner came in, but I said that. I said, I'm a woman, I'm black, I speak several languages, and I'm a foreigner. I don't know why I even put that in. And this person said, with that kind of a confidence, you're hired. That's it. Of course, I went there initially because I qualified for the position. But that whole chemistry, and he just liked that boldness. I said, so if you have a quota to meet, I can meet all of those, and I don't have any issues with that. That's just where I was at that time based on what I knew, and I was hired. That's the bottom line. I was hired. So, and I was happy. For me, there were other candidates. One leaving before I went in, and one waiting to go in. And I think it was something like that. I know that he said you were hired. So perhaps it was not one waiting to come in to interview. I think I was the last one. And he said you're hired in the human resources, employee relations. No, human resources. And they hired me. And I was happy for me. The other candidates will find other jobs, but I was happy for me. I was humbled. Why? No. I had the skills, and I had the boldness and the courage to tell him, the things that was going through my mind. That was years ago back in New York. I was something else. So you have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to yourself. Who are you? And when you say, oh, I am humble, when something good comes to you, why? What does that mean? What does it mean to you? That you were chosen instead of these other folks? No. Be happy. Because why? Because there is something in you. There is an essence, there is something that they know, or they have decided, they have deemed that you are qualified to share with their people. So be happy for yourself unapologetically. That's the thing. With this whole journey of discovering who you are, one of the things, you've got to be bold. Leave all the stuff and all that, complication of life. You try to complicate stuff. You just try to make so much of it. You do this, you get that. You do this, you get that. No, just do it. Just move forward and just go do it. Do whatever you have to do. You have to figure things out. Figure things out for yourself. You figure it out. You figure things out. And you leave anytime you sense the old coming forward, coming toward you and whatever, you just put a stop. Alto, stop. STOP, stop. El stopale. You just put a stop. Why? Because you are forging ahead. You're moving forward. And you're not dragging all that old complicated life system mindset. You have to do this to get, I mean, really, this whole thing about, again, I see a lot of that on social media. How do you manifest this and how do you manifest that? And, I don't even know how to articulate this. When you desire something, regardless of what it is, whether it's a relationship, or a new car, or a baby, a child, whatever, a trip to travel, whatever it is that you desire, it has to become part of you, because you attract who you are, not what you want, but who you are. Before we decided we are going to go on this rendezvous to London, I've been, we had, I've been, you know, thinking of something like, let's do something, and so we decided London. We've been to London before, and we generally don't repeat countries because there's so many countries that we need to cover, and that's, part of our agenda. But we just thought, let's just have a little rendezvous, just, my husband and I, and we go away and refresh, and it's like, it just add newness to your relationship, to your mind, to your intimacy. It just adds newness. So I've been thinking about that, like we need to, and so we just, the moment it was we decided, I created this look. It says London, I don't know if you can see it. London Rendezvous 2024, London. This whole thing. So look at this. This is, I don't know if you can see it here. Look at this. This is a whole let me see here. I don't know if you can see it. This is a whole file of, leaving the airport, our flights. This is the distance from Heathrow Airport to our hotel, the distance, and how much it would cost. I have all of that. And here is our hotel, and uh, the distance from our hotel to Harrods department store. And we knew that we could walk it because that's fun, and the weather was perfect. And then, of course, here's Harrods department store, inside out, and then here's a thing that we were going to do, and just all this. I started creating this file, and then from our hotel to the where we went on this tour to the countryside of London, and I had all this information, all of this. Look, I mean, I don't know if you can see it very well, but look at this. I had pictures of the places that we would cover and how beautiful it was. And, I had all of that. I created all of that. And then, the next day I said, from the hotel to London, to Heathrow Airport. And, I put pictures as well. Pictures and then back to my home. I created that. And the moment I created that whole file, picture file, the moment I created that file, it became part of me. I began to live it. I just, I would lay in bed at night and just really go through our things, and it was such an experience. And then coming home, I realized that, the flights leave there early. We left, it leaves there early and it arrives here early as well. Well, at noonish and so forth. And I thought, we're gonna, by then we were a little tired because we were just like go, go, go once we were there. And so I thought, in the plane, fortunately, the beds in the plane, it reclined so you could get a good night's, I guess, sleep. So we were able to sleep on the plane, nice, and they fed us a lot and so forth. So I began to live this experience before I actually experienced it. I began to live it. It became part of me, and it was, you could not have told me that I would not have had that experience because it became part of me. So there was nothing to attract, there was nothing to manifest. It was already done. It was who I am. So this whole complication about manifest this and manifest that and attract this and attract that, all of that you can do. I mean, if that's where you're at, then fine. But I'm saying to you, my friend, figure it out. Try to find out what works for you, because the point of this whole lifing thing is pleasure, and it must work for you. What is it that you want out of life? You want health, you want goodwill toward you, you want great relationships, you want loving kindness in your life, you want opportunities, you whatever it is that you want, but those are the things that we all want. We all want to be healthy. When I think of myself, and that's what I think. Health, health, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. Health. So you do what you need to do, but even, sometimes I just go off the rail and indulge, and I do that, pretty often. Well, but the point is, most of the time, you do what you need to do to stay healthy. And the whole idea, because you see, when you think pleasure, in order to really enjoy pleasure based on the things that you want to do, uh, you want to be healthy. You want to be healthy because, this way you're not dealing with pain or suffering or aches and all of that. You want to be healthy, and you are deserving of good health. You are deserving of good health. Stop complicating life, my friend. Don't complicate life. Leave the old on this side of the bridge. Leave it, dump it. Don't say, when we travel, and like my husband, when we were packing to come back, he said, I think I brought too much clothes. And I said, my suitcase was lighter. I said, well, I may have packed two or three things, but extra, but we didn't need it. And all those things are the what ifs. What if I need that? What if I need them? What if I need to go back there? What if I need this and what if I need that? When you cross the bridge, you burn the damn bridge. You just burn the bridge. And people always say, don't burn the bridge because you may need to go back there again. You figured out the new. You figure out the new. Figure out the new bridge. You figure out the new, whatever it is that you need on this side of life, you figure it out. You figure it out. You figure it out. You figure it out, my friend. And if you once you have that mindset, you know, the newness of life arrives in your midst, gives you new ideas, critical thinking skills, emotional intelligence. We were what was it? We were supposed to get this tour bus that would take us all around London and whatever. And when we came in, let me see what happened. We came in when we arrived. We just crashed because we were very tired, and we crashed. But then we got up and we went to Harrods. We walked it to Harrods, and then we went out to dinner and so forth. And that was the same day we got there. But then the next day we slept in. We slept in for a long time, and instead of catching the van at early in the morning, at least before noon or whatever, we were like at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, whatever. But we got the benefit of it, just that we got anyway. And but we couldn't figure it out. We couldn't figure out the details, and then I tried to contact the company through which we booked it and so forth, and I just couldn't get through. Then I said to my sweetheart, I said, we'll figure it out. And between both of us, we figured it out. We figured it out, got up on the bus, had a wonderful view, spectacular view, and we were taken around all the beautiful places of the city of London. The last time we went, we didn't really have that opportunity. We just didn't do that. But this time we did. And it was just amazing. It was amazing. But you figure things out. Burn the bridge. Again, that is my philosophy. That's the way I see it. Burn the bridge. Burn it. Burn the bridge. Burn it. Burn it. Burn the bridge. I don't, leave the old behind and you move forward. Create, develop the new, birth the new. Use your critical, and that's the another thing also. The thing is when you try to, and I say that all the time, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. What it does is like it pushes you. It because there's just no other choice but to figure it out. There's just no, so it pushes your brain, your mindset, it pushes you to figure things out, new things, to figure new things out. You've got to change your game, my friend. You've got to change your game. If in this season of your life, again, the best season of your life, you are now perhaps facing different challenges. They're not hard and they're not difficult, but it requires you to make a decision. And somebody looks at me and says, "Oh, you're so blessed." And I'm like, "No, I'm no more blessed than you are. I just make choices. I make decisions. I choose life. I choose things as they come up. I just make choices. You may not agree with my choices, but guess what? It works for me. My life works. And that's the whole thing. Your life must work. And it all starts here. What is your mindset? What are the thoughts that are resident in your mind? And once you start leaving the old behind and leave all the what if this, what if that, what if I need this person, what if I need that person, what if this, oh, I may need this, or I may need this blanket, or I may need these shoes, or I may need this new sunglasses, or I may need this, I may need that, I may need, get new ones. Get new ones. Leave room for the new. Leave the old behind and allow room for the new. And you will have the new. Why? Because you are expecting it. Not only is there room for it, but you are expecting expecting it. You are expecting the new. So you leave the old behind with confidence, not thinking what if. That will set you back. It'll hold you back. It'll hold you hostage to old belief system, old mindset, old relationships, old experiences. So I encourage you, my friend, keep it simple. Don't complicate life with a whole bunch of stuff. I remember when I began my journey of self-discovery, and I when I left religion and all of that stuff. In my mind, I'm thinking you got to get spiritual. You got to get spiritual. Then I try to, I dabble a little bit in that. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then it says, you need to be awakened. So you need to be awake. And then you need to be, what was the other stuff? This oneness thing. And I thought, you know what? I'm like, basta, enough of that. I don't want any of it. I don't want any of it. And then, I came up with love, kindness, and compassion. And that has worked for 15 years. And if someone wants to judge me because of the way I think, again, I have no control over the narrative they have of my life. The most important thing, or the only important thing, is what I think and the narrative I have of myself. And the same applies to you. The narrative folks have of your life is not your concern. The only thing that's important is what you think of yourself. And with that, my friend, I'm going to leave you with that so that you can muse, sup on that, and continue to discover how magnificent you are. Bold, courageous. Go out and live a life of adventure and fun and pleasure unapologetically. Every Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have a date right here. And if you can't meet our date, see the icons on the bottom here? You can tune in 24/7, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and you can watch the show. In the meantime, I'm going to say ta-ta. You have a fantastic weekend. Have a great life and put things to the test to make sure they're working for you, to make sure that you are the one on stage. You are the one that is the only character in your life with your own narrative of who you are. Hasta luego, amigos. Hasta la vista. La semana. Chao. Nos vemos la próxima semana.